Let's get more reaction right now and analysis on this story. We're joined by Ntsikelelo Breakfast, who's a political analyst, to give us his perspective on that announcement made by former President Jacob Zuma. Ntsikelelo, any surprises from what the former president has said?
Of course not, except the announcement that he is going to vote for Umkhonto weSizwe Party, whatever it is called. But other things that were articulated by his daughter are things that we've always known. You know, for instance, the argument that the ANC under the current leadership or under the current circumstances is falling apart. The fact that the ANC has been captured by white monopoly capital, you know, his unhappiness about privatization of state assets and so on. But on the whole, I think my summation of the speech is that the speech was twofold. On the one hand, I think it dealt with the historical development of his activism and his a contribution. On the other hand, the second part dealt with the specificities of some of the decisions that he has made. Of course, one of them is the fact that he's not going to vote for the ANC in order to discipline the ANC. But I find that very contradictory. It's a paradox because on the one hand, he says that he will die a member of the ANC. On the other hand, he's discouraging ANC members to vote for if you are unhappy with the party, why don't walk out of that party? So yeah, I think that is quite interesting in my view. But by and large, on the whole, most of the things that he said are things that we have always known.
Professor Breakfast, just for the sake of our views, can you just lean back a little bit as we continue to speak to you and get further analysis over that announcement being made by the former President Jacob Zuma? So, Prof, let's speak to the dynamic of this, call it a dual allegiance, where the former president saying while he stays a member of the ANC, he will support and vote for this new party that is Umkhonto weSizwe. What do we know about this party? It's only, 3 months old from what was registered for the upcoming elections?
Well, I think some people had already sort of like intercepted, the information that the announcement of the party was going to be made. I think we saw pictures of people wearing T-shirts of this new party. Again, this issue, I think there is a litigation which is underway.
Yeah.
Because Umkhonto weSizwe is a trademark of the ANC. But there was another interesting historical account of Umkhonto weSizwe by Msholos, which is quite interesting that Umkhonto weSizwe has never been part of the ANC. It was quite, justifying why, for instance, the new party is called Umkhonto weSizwe. So that matter, I think, is still underway, and it's going to be quite interesting how it will play itself out. But I think the ANC will not take this lying down. It will challenge it.
In his remarks, the former president seemingly dissects the status of the ruling party, also expressing that he is unhappy with the current leadership of the ruling party, citing that it's possibly captured by white monopoly capital. What do you make of some of these remarks?
Well, I think he's still discontent about how he lost the race. I think even though he did not stand to be the president of the ANC in 2017, the candidate that he supported lost, and the allegation has always been that capital supported the current president of the ANC, and that the matter was not addressed the way, according to him, it should have. There was no full disclosure by the president. So I think he's still unhappy about that. and that is one of the reasons why he says he will not vote for the ANC, or he doesn't encourage ANC members to vote for the current leadership of the, and that is not going to campaign for the. But interestingly, again, I heard him saying that he's also encouraging ANC members to also vote for other progressive political parties. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
It's quite interesting, I must say, as well, Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast. But before we let you go, the President also reflected a lot, not just on the status of the ANC or its current leadership, but also saying that he could not just sit by the lines and basically keep his hands crossed, and saying that he felt compelled to rescue South Africa from some of the challenges that he also cited in his remarks. Are you convinced?
Yeah, I think that is everyone's guess. I don't want to come across as if I'm also embroiled in these factional battles now. I speak as someone who's outside. Look, I mean, I think he has always been discontent about the way things are, and he believes that the way things are is not the way things should be, and that the ANC at the moment is deviating from the organizational culture of the party in terms of the inclusion of the views of the rank and file. And also he spoke about the letter that he penned, if you remember, I think in 2020 when President Ramaphosa referred to the ANC as I choose number one, and he challenged the president, and also spoke about the fact that no one took the president to task. So some of the things are things that he's already said. Yeah, I mean, the question whether am I convinced or not, I think, I mean, it's one of those things, in my view. I mean, it's quite difficult to say, is he making sense or not,
But given the complexity of Zuma's statements, his decisions as well, how do you foresee his political role? I mean, he has said that this is not the last time we'll be hearing from him, that he's going to be making more pronouncements in the future. What do you make of his political role evolving in the coming months, and what potential scenarios might unfold here?
Yeah. Look, I mean, I don't agree with the view that, obviously, the ANC in KZN, I mean, he's very popular. He's very popular in KZN. So the fact that he's not going to campaign for the ANC will contribute to the decline of the electoral performance of the ANC. So I won't be taken aback if the party is dislodged from the helm of power in KZN. Of course, that might have a negative spillover effect on the whole nationally. But I don't agree with the view that because there is this newly formed political party, therefore the EFF is going to benefit on a large scale to the extent that it will replace the DA as the second largest political party. I just think that if one is arguing along those lines, then one is going overboard. Of course, the EFF will improve its electoral performance because some of the members of the ANC who are unhappy maybe might stick around within the ANC but vote for the EFF. But I don't think that it will erode the base of the DA to the extent that it will replace it. But it looks like, I think the writing is on the wall, that the ANC might not get 50% and be in power again. I think it's quite clear, in my view, based on these latest developments.
Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, he's a political analyst, of course, giving us his insights into the remarks made by former President Jacob Zuma, also they're flanked by his daughter, that is Duduzile Zuma, making remarks saying that while he stays a loyal member of the ANC, he won't be voting for the ruling party in next year's elections.